Hey, I'm Mark, and tonight we're running a series through the next couple months on people and their paths, how they came on this path and what brought them to this path, and what the medicine has done for them and what has kept them on this path. And tonight we got a brave soul, and her name is Kristen, and she's going to share a little bit about her story and got a very interesting story. And we'll have our chats here back and forth. But why don't you go ahead and share a little bit of your story, and I'll just sit back in the corner for a while.
Okay. Um, well, I was an alcoholic for 23 years, self-medicating from severe PTSD that I've had since the onset of childhood. I mean, unfortunately, throughout my whole life. And but I always sought help. I always knew that there was a help out there, but I just wasn't getting it. Like the system and society, it wasn't enough. And it really bugged me that it wasn't enough. Like it wasn't doing enough. So I searched for what was there must be something out there, a better way of life to get rid of all that trauma. But traditional therapies didn't work for me. Um, so I did a lot of talk therapy and it was great. I forgave, worked through that way. But
Mm-hmm.
there was still the effects on the body, the mind.
Right.
What I realized that it really does to your mind and affects that way, it's profound because you can forgive and but your body still thinks that you're in that. And my body was constantly thinking I was in fight or flight. And I've been 2 years sober, and I'm very serious about my mental health. I'm very serious about being the best me and not sitting with my discomfort and sitting in my trauma. Like
Mm-hmm.
I want it gone.
Right.
I don't carry that baggage anymore. It's done enough in my life. You're not welcome here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I met my husband Tony in Florida 2 years ago, and him and his brother are very much into plant medicine. And he was telling me about the different things that he had experienced with. And the one that really caught me was the ayahuasca. And
Mm-hmm.
I said to him, I said, "Oh, tell me more about that." I said, because I've always felt when I was on psilocybin and medications. That's why I look at them as medications. Um, and things like that. I said that really helped me. That did something. Even as a teenager, experimenting like that did something, but like profound. Like I want to do
Right.
that. Like there's something there. And I said I thought that would be what would help me the most. And so hearing about this, and it was the journey was always right there, but just like not close enough. So
Right.
I just kept working on myself, praying for it. Like, come on, if it's there, I need it. I need it. I was done with carrying this. And so I went a month ago, I went on my first journey, and it was life changing. I mean,
Yeah.
life changing. Not easy, not for the faint of heart. I'll tell you. I'm not scared of that. I want to get in it and like, let's deal with this because I don't want like deal with it and move on. I got life to deal with. That's where I was at finally, and I knew that whatever it was going to bring me was get to it. And
Right.
it was different than I thought. It was hard to let go of that darn ego right there and to
Mm-hmm.
let all that go.
A lot of pain in there, right? A lot of pain. A lot of
Yeah, I
trauma.
didn't realize what a control. I did not realize what control issues I have. I said to my
Mm-hmm.
husband, I was like, I was so controlling. Apparently, he did. But
Right.
to let that go, because my mind was like, okay, while we're in there, this is what we want to do. It was like organizing my mind in there. This is what we want, and the
Mm-hmm.
other side was like, let go. And when it did, um, it took me to the little girl, my little 2-year-old self. I recognized her right away, and we gave each other a hug, and I hugged that inner child. I sat with her and went. When I was in there, I did realize like all the other stuff will come as it's supposed to. The first step for
Right.
me was that little girl right there, the young self. And nothing has ever, no work I've ever done has done that. And she was scared. She took me to a door and she didn't want to go through. And I didn't force her. And it's really weird because you're not really controlling it, but yet you're very aware, I mean, of what's around you. And it's surreal. It's so surreal.
Mm-hmm.
And she never would let me go back in. I couldn't go even the next night, like through integration, everything. Like after that, we did the ceremony at night. I couldn't go. I saw a bright flashlight. I was in and out within like 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what that did until a couple days later when I came back, and I've been doing the integration work and things like that. And something just hit and clicked, and it doubled me over, like somebody knocked the wind out of me. And
Right.
and all of a sudden, all of that anxiety, panic, everything, anxiety, depression, lifted. And I have such this pure love in my heart right now, just for myself. Oh, such a pure love for everyone,
Right.
because now I love myself, and it's so. I never thought that would. I've been searching for so long. Like I've tried it all, and I just thought,
Right.
well, yeah, but the integration is the key. It's not a fix
And
at all.
you did mention something that's very interesting. Like you were 2 years sober before you went to the medicine. So
Yes.
that's pretty interesting that you went to the medicine. So you were still kind of searching for something else because you were sober. It's like when we do get sober, it's where it's nail biting kind of because we still haven't fixed what's inside of us. So we're going out
Right.
there all the time and it's so hard, and kind of psychedelics or any kind of plant medicines kind of snap that neurons in your mind and they just kind of make you regenerate and think better.
Right.
So,
Very.
and I know you're very fresh on this journey and very, very new to this path, but I mean, you've done some amazing things in the last few weeks, and it's pretty
Yeah.
powerful how this has worked.
It has been. It literally, and then whether it was coincidence, and I don't believe in that. I think that
Yeah,
everything happens when it's supposed to, and
yeah,
like
divine
when I
timing.
was lighter, I could think of things later, and things just bountiful have started to fall in place. And it's just because the fog is lifted, the darkness is cleared, and I'm like I said, I'm not fixed, I'm not healed, the magic cure.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm able to go on one more day
Mm-hmm.
to find out more, and to be like every day is like, what else is going to happen? What else am I going to discover about myself?
Well, that's
From
part of
feeling so
integration.
hurt for so long, to
Mm-hmm.
go, wow. And everybody says you got to love yourself first. And I was like, but I want to. And I'm telling you, I love myself. I'm a good
Yeah.
person.
Right.
But I didn't know how. And yeah,
Right.
until you're like enlightened and
Yeah, it is an
yeah.
enlightenment. You kind of wake up to a different perception of yourself because, you know, I feel, and this is just how I feel, is I mean, it's all deep seated traumas. And, we have to work with those traumas and we bury those traumas after so many years and so many years. And then kind of our thoughts keep going back to those same thoughts and our mind kind of plasticizes. And these plant medicines have some kind of way that they open up that neurological pathway again to make you or help you at least think better and feel better about yourself. And then,
Mm-hmm.
with integration is so important. I mean, even
Absolutely.
integrating every day, integration is not to a one-on-one coaching or, it's going deep inside of you. And,
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that, what you've done with integration so far.
Um, yeah, I love working on myself. It's so crazy. So I look forward to the integration all the time, getting deeper and deeper. And so what I do is I'm never afraid to go there myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then at night I check in with someone, and I do video journaling,
Mm-hmm.
and I talk through my emotions a lot of times. And then and I do video journaling back and forth in conjunction with for my coaching, in conjunction with one-on-one time, things like that, because as I'm saying it, it helps me, as expressing it, it helps me to almost realize things on your own as you're explaining them to someone else, because you go in kind of a trance. And it's like, oh my gosh, you're having these realizations so naturally as they're happening, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, that was profound. I just now thought of that. Like, it comes
Mm-hmm.
through so much. And
It does.
there's just sometimes it's someone's like just a few words, or all of a sudden like they'll connect with you, just like that's all that's needed, is just a little. And you're so capable of, your mind is so capable of going there. and in doing the work, and having an integration coach and someone that can, I find it different like than therapists where they're like, okay, go home and do this and that and that. It's such a gentle, subtle, like cathartic, talking it out,
Right.
you know, not,
Right.
it's not that clinical. I can't figure out how to, I'm not good with the cameras.
That's okay.
And yeah, it's just, it's so, it's unreal. It's different.
Yeah.
And it never stops. And I never let it stop because it's so easy. Like my whole thing in life is like, ever since I got sober, like, let's try something completely new and different. Like everything that I used to, let's just stop and like do the opposite. You know what I mean? Like, let's live like just a little bit differently. So, I forgot where I was going. What was I gonna say?
You were living a little bit differently. Let's talk about like your medications. How do you, before you did this medicine, you were telling me when we talked previously,
doctors would love to put me on all kinds of medications, right? And it was, man, they made me so sick. So for years, and I always fought against it, but man, that was really, really bad. And so the ones that I finally was left on forever was an antidepressant and a mood stabilizer, and then my ADHD medication. And they had diagnosed me bipolar, and I'm like, and I'm not afraid of it. I just want to make sure I'm being medicated for the right things, you know, at this time. But I'm like, I don't quite meet that. Something's going on. And the drugs almost killed me. So going ayahuasca, I had finally taken control of that, but I was on the antidepressants and mood stabilizers, and I had an opportunity, but you couldn't do it on the MLI inhibitors. Like it really, you should be out of your system. So I did Bufo at that time. It had an effect, yes, but not as much as it had gotten up. I stayed off my meds, and my doctor didn't know it. I'm very, very conscious. I check in all the time. I'm constantly like, how am I feeling? How journaling, all that. Like, and she does. I'm better than I've ever been because also I stopped hearing what people thought, and cannabis is good for me. Plant medicine is working for me. It's like I'm in control now. So my doctor's like, no, we should keep you on it. You're doing so good. Little does she know, yep, I'm doing good. Now she knows. Now everybody knows.
Right.
That, but it's so funny that they wanted to keep me on it for so long. And I've told her, and she's like, well, if that's what I said, no more of this. Like, well, but we're still going to prescribe you. No, this is what I believe in, and you're going to listen. And so it's not like I don't have, I'm still, you know, I hope in a year I'm not on my ADHD medications, but the way that it's helping me focus my thoughts, and like you just saw, like what I'm like, I'm not medicated today, so I lose my train of thought and stuff, you know. But I feel like this is a key to that too. And it's funny because I can sense, I work that in my integration too. I stop more and like do little things to help me with the life hacks, the ADHD hacks. You know, because I don't want to be on anything. If this is how good it can feel being all natural, but I'm willing to put in all the work in the world, all the integration, all of it to get everything I can out of it because it saved my life. It has saved my life.
And now, I mean, every day is not a good day, and we all know that. So what kind of practices do you do on your down days?
Definitely breathing, meditation. I meditate every day. Do my breathing. I guess I say that as we all just know it. It's like it's like one of the best things you can do for yourself, especially with going these journeys, you know. But that's the hardest thing is putting time set for myself in the everyday. But you know, that's what I make myself do. I'm feeling great. When I'm feeling down, it's just temporary. Because man, it felt good just a little bit ago, and you know what? It keeps feeling good. These little upsets, I breathe it out. I still like that anxiety will come back, but now I know it's anxiety. I can identify like, okay, what am I like? Is that anxiety? It's never fight or flight anymore. You know, it's like, oh, okay, I can control that. I do a lot of breathing, and I just think this moment's going to pass, and it does. And I'm just more positive, but not like fake about it. It's just I have a brighter outlook. Because I've seen the darkest of darks. I know what it was like before this. I know what it's like to live without sunshine forever. And we think we do, but nothing has helped me like this. To say I know what it's like without it. So any day before, like after this, is better than any day before.
Right.
Now, is it as intense as it was the first time? I mean, no. I mean, like that first week was such a dopamine rush because it's all hitting me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'm talking so much about it, and I'm integrating like crazy, driving my. What I did do was stop. I didn't go out to social media and tell everybody, guess what I did? Guess what's happened to me? I didn't go to my mom and say, I'm healed. I want to talk to you about what's happened. And that's normally what I would do. I love to shout good news, of course, and I sat with it. That's been the difference with this. I sat with my integration, and because it's such a personal experience, I sat with what I knew. What I share now is what I've sat with. Like, you know what I mean? And it's come, and I'm so glad. That's the best gift after including integration that I've given myself, if I can say anything about it. Just for myself, was sitting with it all before you go out, because then you invite a lot of opinions, a lot of views.
Absolutely, a great takeaway so early in your journey too, because we all take these medicines, or most of us take these medicines, and we want to go shout it out to the world. And you're right, this is a path of you and yourself, and it's great to tell everybody, but in the long run, they will see, and when they see, that's people hear words all the time. So when they start seeing what you're doing, how you're doing it, it's beautiful, and it's a beautiful path, and
and it feels good. It feels like to sit with that and to sit in that, like to sit in your own truth and be like, because when you're in these ceremonies and stuff, the people that you're in there with, when you walk out, you may never talk to each other again, but that it's so like you just experience something that you walk out and you know that it was something that you needed to sit with, if something profound happened, something like transformative, yeah.
But in a lot of those journeys too, also you take away some really positives, when you're sitting.
Oh, absolutely. I'm surprised we've all kept in, like, I love it. I don't have a tribe, like where I'm at, like I'm always like, where are my people at?
Right.
And they're out there. And that was the one thing. It was like, wow. Yeah, I mean, in a world that's so judgmental, so harsh, so quick to, we're always the stigma, so this, so that, and we're always fighting against it. And it is, I mean, warriors, like, and to finally be in a place where you're allowed to be you with your healing, your journey, and and you're just all like there together. Whether you speak like, whether you ask for help, or you know what I mean, like speak it out loud, it's just there. There was some people I knew better than others. That's what I'm saying.
It's a definite knowing.
Felt that with everybody.
It's a knowing that you get the more you experience with this medicine, and the more you're on this path, and the more you integrate with yourself. I mean, this is all like we've been talking about integration, and this is all about you. And now, where are we going from here? You're going on another journey, I hear, pretty soon?
I am, June 24th, 25th, and 26th.
Okay.
I'll be in Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa. And I can't wait. And and now I go in going, whatever you want to work on. And that's what it gave. That's what I look at my first experience with, was making me able to get to this point. You know what I mean? Like to just survive, to like, now when I go on this next one,
right,
I'm so trusting. I'm so trusting, whether it's like good, bad, indifferent. I know that it's meant to be. Right. Whatever that is, she knows what she's doing, because and it just works. I'm so blown away by it. And like I said, I make sure that I recognize it every day. Gratitude is a big thing in my life too. Because it's very easy to sit and be like, I feel great. Sunshine and roses all over. This pink cloud is amazing. And then you stop doing the work. You stop doing the integration, and life happens again. And because you haven't like built this foundation, it's so easy to tear away at it. It's really the best self-care too, to shut yourself out and do this for you. That was the most selfish time that was good. I needed that selfish time to say, I'm here, like no access. This is my time for me, that self-care that I never allowed myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you felt that from the journey too. It was very warm. It was very it's definitely a feminine energy, you know. So
Oh,
it's
for sure. Mm-hmm.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, just beautiful. Yep. So
It
I go
is.
back in June, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
go every month if I need to. Or, but you know what I'm actually looking forward to
Mm-hmm.
is volunteering at these ceremonies too, like
Absolutely.
going and
No,
giving back to other people.
absolutely.
Volunteering.
Huge part. Because it's a huge part. And it's
Oh
funny,
yeah,
great you mentioned that because, that is such a huge part of this journey because, it's almost as it's almost as profound as the journey itself, to be
yeah,
part of somebody else's journey, but on the other side. It's really powerful.
exactly.
It's really
And
powerful.
yeah, I look for. I'm sorry. I look forward to that because there is something so healing and help. And I want, like, I love people. I love people that, you know, that feel that are the misunderstood, the wounded, that, to say, hey, we're all together. We're not alone. You know what I mean? And like to have that is just to give that back actually, and not, yeah, I can't wait
Right.
for that. I think will
Right.
be the most, and the reason I pause is like because I I hope that I look forward to doing it, I guess. Just to me, when I think about it, it brings this really special, like, I'm not like I'm doing it for a special reason. Just there's this warmth and love about it that's so pure. You know what I mean? To be on either side of that, yeah, I can't imagine anything feeling better than this right now.
I
So
know it is. It is just a special feeling. And somebody asked, "Is what plant medicines we're just talking about ayahuasca tonight? That's your medicines that you've done, and
yeah,
that, like you said earlier, that is definitely the feminine energy for sure. It's definitely
mhm,
the heart opener. And this whole medicine journey is a process. I mean, the transformations you can make and what you can do is, I mean, I've seen transformations in a few ceremonies that take 10 years to, I mean, talk therapy is talk therapy, but you can't crack that mind sometimes of some people, you know.
right.
I guess this speeds up the process a little bit of that.
Well, the fact that I'm even sitting here doing this with you, I've never gone like reached out like this. Always wanted to, but I would be like so self-conscious of the fact that like I do get so excited that I'll forget what I'm talking about and made train of thought. Like my ADHD is on display in like my little synchronicity, what are quirks or whatever, idiosyncrasies. And because I'm also like just very, very excited to share this, but so now I do it as like this is huge because I'm like, no, it's rewarding. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. It's very good to do this. I'm changing in ways in my relationships with other people, strangers too. Like, there's just a peacefulness about me that I love that my daughter sees. It's a lot of what happened, what was it like? Just wait and see,
right.
because it is having its effect now. I
Hmm.
mean, when I got back, everybody wants to like test, like, Mom Zen,
Yeah,
like I'm here.
right.
But if you just, yeah, and it's like, I've noticed her voice has come, like things like that. So it's good. I'm demonstrating that. So,
Absolutely. And the relationship with the husband, how is that? How has that gotten?
um, unbelievably, so yeah,
I met Kristen at probably the lowest point of her life.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And just to, I mean, we've been together about 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the change that has come in first with the Bufo, a little bit with the Bufo. I
hmm
mean, I'm a huge proponent for cannabis and plant medicine in general. If there's,
I don't know how to get us both in the screenshot.
I can
That's
move over.
there you go.
There you go.
There.
I'm a huge proponent for plant medicine. My experiences are a lot more varied than hers. I've done ayahuasca, I've done bufo, I've done psilocybin, I've done San Pedro. I did a full-blown ceremony with
Yeah.
Native Americans with peyote. So I've been on the journey for a lot longer. And I
Right.
mean, when I was younger, I was a much more angry, nasty person.
Right.
when I met her, she was at the lowest point, and just to see the growth that she's experienced over the few years with getting off some of the medications she had, being able to remember what she's doing,
yeah,
and enjoying life. It's been a huge improvement to our lives as a couple, not just hers.
because when I met Tony, I had gone to Florida. I live in Michigan. I left Michigan. I left my daughter. I left everybody. I went to Florida, which is totally not like me. But I was like, either you're gonna, really what I look at it as, either something save me, a miracle to save me, or let me just not let everybody else watch me drink myself to death. Not because I wanted to, but because, my gosh, I've tried so hard. I don't like being this way. I understand it so much that I'm conscious of it, which I wish that I wasn't sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to die. I don't want to live this way. So let me die like away from everyone. And yeah. And so I just met him, and it was just like, there's better ways. And he just started talking to me and stuff like that. And I went into rehab. COVID hit. He took me out of rehab because the therapist and stuff couldn't come in, and took me on a journey really to discover myself. And with cannabis and in plant medicine and Bufo. I did the Bufo first. But like I said, I hadn't been off my MOA or my antidepressants and stuff long enough. But even that, a year earlier, had started opening a door. And when I got home, I didn't know how this integration works. I'm like, what is this? I'm very good at therapy and stuff. I didn't expect that. And I was sitting there and I don't know.
That's a different medicine. That's a medicine that, that integration happened probably about a week after. It's an intense journey. And, it's kind of a journey that we'll discuss later on. But all these medicines are just so beneficial. And I mean, your story is so beautiful. And look where you've come just in the last month. I mean, it's amazing. And now you're going again. And we're going to definitely follow up with you here after that journey and to see how that progresses from there, because this is what we want to do. I mean, we want to spread this word, and we want to spread what this medicine really is and get that stigma away of that stigma. So beautiful story.
Could be helping so many other people. Many other people.
Right. I've got friends I'm former military. I've got friends who are military who have done the ayahuasca specifically. And the changes you see in some of these vets, where they're sitting there literally every night with a gun in their mouth going, should I pull the trigger?
Trigger warning.
To now they're back to who they were before they went in and better. It's huge. I mean, this medicine is literally saving lives.
Yeah, it is.
And it's something that should be more readily available, and the stigma needs to go away because of that.
Yeah, it definitely does. And it definitely has a very huge impact with PTSD. I'm no doctor. I'm not here going to spread any kind of word like that, but I've just seen the healing myself through my eyes of what it does for any kind of trauma. I mean, this is a trauma medicine, no doubt.
Absolutely.
I'm living proof. I never, ever have felt this in my life. In my entire life, because it started so young, I've never felt this way ever, and it was because of this. And I've tried to stay within what everybody else kept telling me to do and what was society's like comfort zone. I played your game. I tried, and now I'm gonna go back to what it was always intended, the natural medicines that were there and available and what we're supposed to be doing. Also, while I was doing that, my body felt better, because you're eating better. You have to stay away from these, prepare for it. And like no inflammation, no like joint aches, no nothing. So while you're going through this whole experience, and not only are you feeling better like here, or even when you're feeling bad, you're feeling better. Even when you're going through it, it's better. But so is your body is going through that too, like in a whole different way. Everything it was very healing inside out. Like
part of the process is you're detoxing your body of all the processed garbage.
Yep. Definitely.
And you're taking medicine, and it's just amplifying the fact that you're getting rid of the toxins, you're dealing with the trauma, and it's not just here, it's your whole body is healing is what
Right.
it is.
Absolutely. Because after a while, your mind, your body is your mind. I mean, this is your vessel. So after so many years, your mind programs your body. So that's where the healing starts. I mean, you can fix your mind, but your body is where the progress and the work is. You gotta heal those deep wounds that are just inserted into different areas. And our chakras are a big important part of that. And there's so many important parts of this. And I mean,
Yeah.
we could talk forever about how the benefits of these are, but I think visualizing it and seeing it from people like you and who we're going to have on in the future, and just how this process works, I mean, people are going to see. They're definitely going to see. And listening to your husband back there, I mean, it's pretty important to just hear all aspects and all views, because I know for myself, 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, my parents, who are older now, were so against this medicine. Now they just see the value. So it's life changing.
Yeah. I definitely this will be like, I know people that'll be like, how can you claim that you're sober?
Hmm.
That's a big one. How can you claim that?
Well,
Yes,
because
I am.
God gave us the universe, or however you want to say it, gave us these gifts. And all
Right.
I can say to that is all plant medicines are Schedule 1, and they were given us by the universe.
Yep.
And if you have to put two and two together, you have to ask yourself why that is.
Yep.
So, but it was beautiful having you tonight. I mean, we
Thank
do want
you.
to continue with your journey. So maybe here sometime after you come off, we'll connect, and then we'll see your progress, your beautiful progress, because already look what you've done in this short time. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
All
look
right.
forward to it. Thank you.
All right. Love both of you. Ciao. You guys have a great night.